The Turn and Learn Arrays and Multiplication Board provides you with a simple and effective way to introduce your children to multiplication strategies. I'm Melissa Dash, a primary teacher and a maths coordinator. I'm the author of the Turn and Learn Arrays and Multiplication Activity Book. I've been using the green board here in my classroom now for the past 2 years. The board consists of 12 rows of 11 rotating cubes. When the board is used as a multiplication chart, the factors are the yellow numbers across the top row and down the first column. The products are white except for the square numbers, which are in red. These red numbers divide the board diagonally in half. The board provides many opportunities to introduce children to the patterns that are on this number grid. For example, let's look at the 9s pattern. To focus the children's attention, you would turn all the other cubes to blank. Ask children what they notice. For example, they may notice that the numbers in this pattern go odd, even, odd, even, odd, even. They may even notice that the sum of the digits in this pattern always total 9. 9, 1 plus 8 is 9, and so on. You might link this information to the divisibility rule by posing a question such as, how can we tell if a number is divisible by 9? Other patterns can help children recognise the relationship between different multiplication facts. For example, the 2s, 4s and 8s facts. I would usually begin by first showing just the 2s pattern and introducing children to the patterns that they may just see in that column. Then I would introduce the 4s pattern and have children see the relationship between the two different lots of facts. I'd like the children to notice that they can double these answers to give them the answers to the multiplied by 4 facts. The 8s column can then be revealed and children can again look at the patterns that they notice and can see that the answers to the times 8 facts are doubling and doubling again. They can see this down each of the columns. This strategy is explored in more detail in the activity Doubling Doubles in the Green Board book. Another feature of the board which I find very useful is the way you can present each multiplication fact as an array. Arrays provide children with a visual image so that they can see the relationship between multiplication and division. For example, this 4 by 6 array, the children can see 4 rows of 6, or the children can see it as 6 columns of 4. You can turn the last cube to reveal the product. You might like to extend this activity by recording the different number facts children can see related to each array on the whiteboard. Another use of arrays is for skip counting. Turn the top row of cubes to blank. Then begin your array by revealing dots starting from the first column. Turning the cube at the end of each row will reveal the number of dots. Ask the children to see if they can predict what the next numbers will be by looking for a pattern each time. The square numbers can also be shown as arrays. These can be shown with the factors displayed. The product is revealed by turning the last cube in the array. The square numbers are in red to visually divide the board in half. If children understand the commutative property of multiplication, they can see that they would only need to learn half of the multiplication facts. For example, 2 multiplied by 7 is 14, and 7 multiplied by 2 is also 14. You can illustrate many examples of this on the board. With only half the numbers displayed, you have the opportunity to explore the number patterns that can be seen in the diagonals. For example, the relationship between consecutive square numbers can be explored. Ask the children what they notice. An unexpected use of the numbers on this multiplication grid is to show equivalent fractions. If you reveal the numbers in the second and third rows, you can show equivalent fractions for a half. You can get children to predict what the next equivalent fraction will be. For example, how many 12ths will a half equal? I would record these fractions on the whiteboard as well to show children the vinculum. You can show equivalent fractions using any 2 rows on the multiplication board. Reversing the board, you have a grid of white and yellow dots and no numbers. I would use these dots to show the children turnaround arrays. I would start by showing the children a real-life array, such as this muffin tray or an egg carton. You can show the two different arrays on the board. The muffin tray can be shown as 2 rows of 4, or you can twist the muffin tray and see that it's the same picture, and here we've got 4 rows of 2. These dots can also be used to show partial arrays where some of the array is hidden or missing. Children can share their visualisation or counting strategies with each other and create their own examples on the board. You can turn the dots to complete the partial arrays. Other maths concepts I have used these dots for include showing the different tens facts. I use the white and yellow dots to show the part-whole relationships. Another use of the dots is to show a pathway between two characters, for example, a cat and a bird. Children can describe the pathway using directional language. You could attach a compass rose or grid references to the board if you wish. All the ideas I've presented are explained in more detail in the book, along with many more activities. You will find the board an easy to use and practical classroom resource.